So once again, anime and anime-style video games are in the news, not for good reasons. It seems like there's always a big push to kind of censor or change the media. Every month or so, it's kind of been stepping up a little bit more lately. Australia really pushing some new stuff on it. I'm going to go over that. I wanted to start here, though, because I saw this artwork a few days ago and thought it was absolutely hilarious. I saw Hero 8 did a video on it, and I just wanted to talk about it because I really like this series. And I'm shocked at how terrible this artwork is. They got an X-Men artist, a Marvel artist to do this. So they got an American artist to do a collector's edition Steelbook Blu-ray artwork for the cover. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, who approved this? You know, if someone gives you art, you can tell them no, redo it. Or you just don't use it. You couldn't get anybody in Japan to do artwork. Who thought this would sell? You know, I love steelbooks. If this artwork was better, like if they'd actually got somebody that knew what they were doing, I would probably get this, but I don't want this. And I would get it literally just to have the steelbook because I love steelbooks. This is horrible. Look at Sasuke. It's absolutely horrible. They got a... Why would you get a Marvel artist to do this? Apparently it's an American comic book legend. Why do you think that... Who had the idea to think that this would be a good crossover? It's really strange. Like, oh, I hope they share the sales on this. No one's going to want this. No one's going to look at this and say, oh, got to have that Naruto collector's edition steelbook. And you know, this had to have went through a couple of people. I can't imagine just one person signs off on this. You would think that at least 2 or 3 or something, like a chain of people, had to say, oh yeah, this is definitely what we need. Spark up some Naruto sales. Oh, what a horrible idea. What a horrible... There wasn't anybody famous in Japan you could have got. I mean, Funimation, as terrible as they are, at least when they do like Dragon Ball releases, especially lately, like all of when they did the seasons for Blu-ray, or when they did that collector's edition Blu-ray that was terrible and used 4x3, but they still used the same horrible process for remastering. At least they go back to Toei and commission artwork. These lazy people, they just went and got a Marvel artist. Hey, yo, can you draw this Japanese style? Sure. How about body positive Naruto? So here's the topic I really wanted to hit. So you have a Japanese director for a video game series, Fate Extra, and he wants to remake a Fate Extra CCC, but he won't do it because he's worried that the game would be too lewd, which wouldn't be too much of a problem in Japan, I think. I think the real problem here is the Western market, who apparently have huge problem with anime girls. I don't know why. It's very strange. You know, it's okay to do stuff like Last of Us 2 with Abby. That's okay. You can show hardcore scenes between a man and a woman, if you know what I'm saying, in that game. But Lord forbid you have an anime girl and show a little bit of her chest or a little bit of a pantsuit shot. Literally, I mean, you can look at Fairy Tail game that came out, I believe, yesterday or last week. They added so there's this thing they do where instead of seeing the pantsuit, they'll show a black hole. Like literally, it's all blacked out. It's very strange. Like it's an abyss that goes into like some Deep Space Nine wormhole, and you cross into another dimension. Maybe that's a way to control, like, kids doing stuff. I don't know. You think you'll wind up in another dimension if you hook up or something? I don't know. It's very strange. It's really strange. You think it would offend women? Like, what are you trying to say about me? You know, you're going to travel through space and time if we hook up. It's very strange. So they got rid of all of those shots and censored it. Day one, some patch came out, and now it's like an endless abyss. So that caused a stir. Like people, I find it funny if you make a comment on stuff like this, on censorship like this, people will say, "Oh, you know, you can't beat it off. anime girls? Is that what you're on? No, it's about the censorship and the new rise in like Puritan values that people seem to have. I don't understand it. Like, and I've said this before. It's almost like they want women covered in like, robes and covering their heads and everything. Going back to like the 1950s where it was like considered lewd for a woman to show her ankle. It's very strange and regressive to what real women had fought for, so that they could do what they want with their bodies. Instead, we seem to be regressing back to them being covered up. It's very strange. Unless, of course, you look like Abby from Last of Us 2, then it's okay. You can show whatever you want. It's really weird, and I don't get it. But the director of this game series, he doesn't want to make the game. Well, he wants to, but he's worried about it, and it's really sad that he has to be worried about it. Like, he should be able to just make the game he wants, and if you're offended by what's in the game, you could always, not buy it. I'm just throwing that out there. You don't have to buy the game, but instead they just want to ruin the fun for everybody else. It's like, well, we don't want you to see it. We don't want to just not buy the game. We don't want you to play it either. It's a very weird, like, authoritarian censorship. I don't get it. But he says around here, around the 1750 mark on a stream, he goes, I need to say it. I definitely want to remake CCC2, but nothing is decided yet, as he kept discussing with his colleague. They both jokingly mentioned how lewd the game is. Fate Extra CC has char designs by Oroko Wada, and she really went all out with them. The latter's design in particular is pretty funny once you've heard Wada really likes heels. CCC has overall has multiple fan service themed CGs, and yeah. He's worried about releasing the game nowadays, and he'll take some time to think about it as he keeps working on Fate Extra Record. Referencing Sony, by the way. Sony, for over a year now, tends to randomly censor Japanese games on PS4 and Vita compared to their Switch, PC, or Xbox One releases. I don't get what's going on with Sony on that. It's a strange hypocrisy that they have. And a lot of people pointed this out with Last of Us 2 on how it was okay for Abby to take her shirt off, but, show a pantsuit shot with an anime girl and everyone loses their mind. It's really weird. So next up, Australia is still moving and doubling down on their crazy war on manga. I don't quite understand it, but they've been removing several series from stores. There's a report that came out the other day on this. And this is really nothing new. I remember last year there was a Australian politician giving some big speech on it, like showing pictures of manga and stuff. And they've got a couple of big wins recently, and I really just don't get it. I don't understand why this is such a big deal, but Australia has been just going crazy with it lately, and they've been making some headway. At the end of the day, it won't really stop anything with manga being like so big online. It's just the people that are really going to get hurt are, of course, the publishers, because they'll see no revenue from people buying it. People, piracy doesn't really hurt manga that much, which is kind of crazy. Like, people will still go buy it. But it looks like that revenue is going to go down in Australia if this keeps up. Guys over in Australia, you got to step up and tell these people they're crazy and get them to stop going after manga, because they're making big headway over there. And if something doesn't change, you're going to see more censorship. They already censor your video games enough, don't they? You're going to let them take your manga too? Come on. And then one last thing I wanted to touch on. I'm not going to even go through this whole article because it's ridiculous. I just wanted to make fun of it. Persona 5 Royals, mature love interest reinforces toxic masculinity. We've seen Persona 5 attacked several times over the past 2 years. The women are too dressed down. Oh, there's some istophobic content. We need to censor it. Oh, and now it's toxic masculine. Okay. Why do they hate this game so much? Is it because it's successful and people like it? I don't know. Funny to me. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. What do you guys think about all this? Give me your thoughts on all this nonsense. Is Persona 5 a game that reinforces toxic masculinity? How do you feel about what's going on over Australia? What do you think about Fairy Tail? How do you feel about Fate Extra CCC? What do you think about that? The idea that game, the guy, people want to play that, I'm sure. The guy wants to remake it, but he won't because he's afraid of Western Twitter puritans. That's where we're at now. Anyway, give me your thoughts. Throw a like up, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.